In my last video, I made the case that there is God. There is a God because the universe doesn't make sense otherwise. It's virtually impossible for complex life and to have evolved simply by chance. Both science and religion are seeming to point towards the fact that there's some type of purpose, creative force, which in a nutshell spells out God or God force. Where the confusion comes in is in the nature of this God force. And I want to go back to the story of the Ten Commandments. You know, here Moses and the Israelites were wandering around in the desert, escaped Egypt, and they've been on the run for almost 40 years. And they were tired and they stopped to rest at the base of Mount Sinai for a while. And one day Moses goes up into the mountains and he's gone for a while and comes back down, and he's got the Ten Commandments, big stone tablets in his hand that God has given them the rules to live by. And Moses is all excited, comes down, and he finds out in his absence, the Israelites broke out into a huge party. And it was just all types of debauchery carrying on. And Moses, God, I'm sorry. And he goes, hey, people, look, thou shalt have no other gods. Number one, and here you've got this golden calf. You've right off the bat, what's wrong with you people? And there's adultery and theft and you just destroyed the soul. Jesus, too early. Sorry. And he smashes the tablets and he kicks over the kegs and just ruins the party. And the people were ashamed and they stopped partying, and Moses goes back up to the mountain, gets new tablets, and this was before instant replay. And God blew the call because the Israelites got away scot-clean, and Moses got thrown into the penalty box and was never allowed into the promised land. However, the story of the golden calf worshiping false gods is the main focus of this story. And I think it's important because I think it's what we're still doing today. We tend to worship and honor figures rather than beliefs or thoughts. And it's called anthropomorphism is the big thing. And we have done it for thousands, if not millions of years, ever since man has been around. And there's scientific reasons for it. But what we do is we put human faces and human attributes on everything. I mean, ships are called she. We put faces in clouds. On our cars, the headlights and the grills look like human faces. We see faces in trees and potato chips and everything. We expect our pets to behave like human beings and to have manners and to, if they could talk, we want them to say please and thank you. We want everything to be human. And there's reasons for this and it makes sense. But if we're doing it for potato chips and cars, doesn't it make sense that we would do this for God? And we have. If you look back to ancient men, prehistory and early history, they believed that there was a spirit, a universal spirit in everything. Us, the plants, the animals, the sky, everything. And they was united in this one spirit, and they revered everything together because they knew their actions, their doings, their thoughts had an effect on the universe around them. And then, well, we could go back to another story, the Garden of Eden, which tells us this story I'm about to, Adam and Eve were in the garden, and they were in communion with God. And God, in this case, is the universe, everything. They were communing, walking hand in hand, having down-to-earth conversations. Everything was happy. And then Satan, which is a metaphor for the ego, which I'll get into later, Satan tempted them to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And right there, unfortunately, they didn't see the catch, because there is no such thing as good or evil. These are human concepts created by the ego. Everything just is in a universe like this. Nothing is good or evil. It's all your perspective, how you take it. Right? But Adam and Eve didn't see that, and they were entranced by the knowledge. And so they ate of the fruit, and the ego was created. And they lost this communion with God, this one-on-one connection. And this parable, this extended metaphor, is exactly what happened. At one point, and man separated himself from the universe, the ego. We created a separation. And shortly after that, instead of a universal spirit, we had gods. Because if we have gods that are separate from us, we're no longer responsible. We are victims. We are victims of the universe. Zeus, Amun, Thor, Odin. These gods are doing things to us. They are responsible. And all we can do is hunker down and hope for the best and try to appease them. Sacrifice virgins and sheep and throw people in volcanoes. But it's all because of the gods, not us. So we lost our personal responsibility for the entire universe. And as time went on, our view of God, or gods, evolved. As I said, the ancient Greeks had a multitude of gods. God for everything, because they used to explain natural phenomena. The sun, the seasons, the rain, the weather, earthquakes, natural disasters, deaths. Everything was explained through gods. And their gods, they were candidates for the Jerry Springer show. They would interact with humans and have illegitimate children, rape, incest, anything goes. Crazy gods. And then the Romans mimicked them, and then this concept of a one God, monotheism, came around. And slowly over time, this single God replaced. But look at how much the Christian God has changed over the years. The God of the Israelites, he was in favor of sacrifice and war, murder, polygamy. He had the army march around, playing trumpets, tearing down walls, killing people. The modern God, his views have changed. He's more of a peaceful God. His views on LGBTQ have changed. His views on marriage have changed. So, is God changed? Or have we changed our views? And if we are changing God, then it makes more sense that it's because we created this God. We formed God in our own image. We've gone back to the golden calf. We've forgotten the true God. And again, we focused on the human aspects, on personifying this God, a God we created. We're more concerned with the methodologies, the rituals. How many Hail Marys do you say? Did you go to church on Sunday? And we forget the message. And I know more about Christianity than the other religions, but I know some about them. But if you look at Judaism, Islam, they all have a universal message of love. Loving your neighbor, respect, loving God, and just being a good person, leading a good life. And we get so caught up in the other aspects of the religion that we fight, ignoring the fact that there's a universal message. And this is what is important for our souls, is living our lives in unity with the world around us, with love and compassion. And I will get more into that in future videos, because that's where the idea of intention and love and how everything unites comes into play. And thank you.